Labor Day weekend. I hope you are enjoying yourselves. Welcome, Idella and Penelope.
Yes, good morning.
And we invite you to join with us.
Good afternoon and welcome.
Yeah, let's sing. Let's sing. Yeah. We'll have the lyrics available for you to join with us. Put your hands together. Yeah. In the morning when I get out of bed,
I claim a blessing.
Amen.
I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing.
That's right.
This is how I start my day, knowing good is on the way. I am claiming perfect health, love and laughter, friends and wealth. In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing.
Yes. It's another one of our favorites. Woo.
I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, so grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for, yeah, all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here.
Yeah, put your hands together. Be seated.
Yes.
Woo. Thank you, Idella.
Thank you, Penelope.
Good afternoon, SLCA. Welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. My name is Jean Bell, and my pronouns are she and her, and I am the associate minister here. I am so glad that you can join us today. If you're viewing on Facebook or YouTube Live, please like and share this broadcast so that we can continue to spread the good news of New Thought out into the world. If this is your first time here, please see a welcome ambassador in the hall for a gift, especially for you. Before we do our affirmation, I just wanted to inform you, and it's truly with a sad heart that I inform you this, that practitioner, one of our distant practitioners, Georgina Grace Eggleston, has made her transition on August the 28th. Georgina was a dedicated mother, loving sister, cherished friend, and a dedicated practitioner, as well as a grief relief counselor. Georgina will be sorely missed, and I ask that you keep her family and her friends, which are many, in your prayers as they grieve the loss of her physical presence. But as we know, Spirit is eternal, and that spark of the divine that is within her will go on, world without end. So in that, we rest assured. All right, we're going to say our new affirmation for the month. This is a new month, and our new theme for the month is building peace. I love that, building peace. This is something that we definitely need in the world. I'm going to read it all the way through. And before I forget, Reverend David is out today, and Reverend Susan Zoller so graciously accepted to be our speaker today. So thank you, Reverend Susan. Thank you. All right, I'm going to read the affirmation all the way through, and then I'm going to invite you to say it along with me. Realizing my life is rooted in pure spirit, everyone I encounter, I will greet in peace and love. For I know that in me is the peace that passes all understanding. I am anchored in this peace, and it overflows out into every aspect of my life. Peace in my mind, I am peace. Peace in my relationships, I am peace. Peace in my family, I am peace. In the world, I am peace. And so it is. Mally with the announcements. Thank you, Mally. You know, I'm tired. You must forgive me. Yeah, we're going to say it together.
Okay.
I will be all
There
right.
it is.
All right, all together now. Realizing my life is rooted in pure spirit. Everyone I encounter, I will greet in peace and love. For I know that in me is the peace that passes all understanding. I am anchored in this peace, and it overflows out into every aspect of my life. Peace in my mind, I am peace. Peace in my relationships, I am peace. Peace in my family, I am peace. Peace in the world, I am peace. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you, darling.
You're welcome, Reverend Jean. Hello, all my little home fries. I'm Mally Lapete. My pronouns are she and her, and I gladly serve on the creative arts team here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. They're on the cover. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give at SLCA. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, scan the QR code found on your monitor. Visioning is vital to the sustainability of SLCA. Next Sunday, September 8th at 5 p.m., SLCA practitioner Baji Daniels will step in for Reverend Jean and lead our community in a vision for SLCA. This opportunity takes place every second Sunday, and we would love for you to join us. Reverend Dr. David Alexander is excited to offer a new course coming in fall. It's called Exploring the Roots of Science and Mind. It's going to start September 25th, Wednesday. That'll be week 1. The format is hybrid format of self-study and on-demand content, and 5 Zoom sessions. Head on over to the website newthoughtheducation.com to reserve your spot. Voting's not just a right, it's our obligation. Your vote matters. It's come to our attention that some registered voters in Georgia have somehow suddenly become unregistered through no fault or will of their own. We've even had those in our community that have been affected by this. So scan the QR code found on your monitor and see if you are still listed as an active voter. Check frequently in the weeks leading up to the election to confirm you are still listed as an active voter. As our community grows, we're looking for those willing to volunteer. Please consider donating one Sunday a month and serve on one of our many SLCA teams. We're especially looking for those of you to join our hospitality team. Please speak with Shannon, who's not here today. You could see me or any one of our ushers about how to find your spot. And thank you. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to visiting with you after the service in the social hall for our potluck Sunday. You belong.
unfold your heart. Relax your senses. Feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Breathe every breath. Release your cringe. Love without waiting, without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound.
Today is the day that God hath made. We are rejoicing. We're rejoicing, and we're so glad in it. I've been moved by Spirit to do a prayer on divine well-being and wholeness. There are so many reports of people being ill and even having COVID. So we're just going to declare right here, right now, that God is all there is, all-knowing, all-powerful, everywhere, all the time. And we are one with this forever evolving power of oneness and allness. We know that this power radiates, vibrates, illuminates in every part of our being. And just declare, if there's any feeling of illness, we claim here and now. Every cell, every organ, every drop of blood in our bodies are radiating and vibrating in the energy of the Almighty. Feel that power with me right here, right now. Allow it. Allow it to vibrate in you. Own it. Own wholeness. We all have a right to it. But we have to claim it and own it. Those white cells are multiplying. Those are the cells that are healing cells in our body. They're multiplying and they're taking over any kind of sickness or ill feeling in the body. Feel that in your inner being. Feel the strength and the power of God moving through you right here, right now. Claim how you want to feel. Own it. Know that it is yours, rightfully yours. Be in it. We celebrate wholeness. We celebrate divine well-being. And we give thanks for the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, for Dr. David Alexander, all the practitioners, all of the members here. We give thanks knowing that everything is in divine order. All is well. Amen, as we say together, and so it is.
You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. So lift up your voice. Let it be heard. Tell me your story, tell it to me. Don't leave out a word. 'Cause I think I have been there too, and I'm a seeker just like you. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound, yeah.
Lighting the flames of faith. A call to service. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We recognize the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We recognize the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of the primal spirituality. We recognize the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We recognize the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We recognize the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We recognize the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We recognize the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We recognize the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We recognize the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we recognize the healing candle, please put silently in the light the name of anyone you wish to experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
So meditative. And we do that first Sunday of every month. It reminds us that there are many paths, many beautiful spiritual paths to the one divine intelligence that's in us all. Now is our time for grateful giving and offering, and there are so many ways to give, right? You can text to Tide at 404-800-9467. You could also scan the barcode. If you have a check or cash, you can drop it in one of the receptacles on either side, and we have envelopes for that. If you're a pledger like me, thank you. You can drop your Tide card in the basket. It's a form of physically feeling something, because it kind of feels weird not to do that, not to pass, when you know you're giving. So thank you for all the ones that contribute electronically. So as we prepare to give, we also have to realize that the law of circulation is always in operation. So we also want to prepare to receive. And we have a testimonial from one of our former board members, and he's going to tell us how this philosophy, this particular center, has impacted his life. And we all know him. Today it will be Michael Preston, former board member, long-time active member of our community. He is an usher, he is a hospitality member extraordinaire. Please welcome Michael Preston.
Thank you, Jean. Good morning. I can't break the habit of saying morning still. Let me say first that I'm privileged to do this today. I've been a member here for 10 years, 11 years, and I'll tell you how I came to be here. My partner, Edward, and I tried many different places of worship. And Unity, I was raised Baptist, missionary Baptist. And so we've all been somewhere on this path. And my path led us to SLCA. And we're here now 10 years. I've been a board member, I'm a greeter, hospitality. Whatever it is that needs to be done, I do. So I thought about this and I said, what I'm going to do in my testimony is this. I'm going to talk about connect, grow, serve, and give. So, we connected here. We've met great friends, great people. Baji Daniels told me one Sunday, we're never alone. Others have told me that God is all there is. David Alt was instrumental in us being here. David Aurelio, Tom Woodward. And so, we've connected. I've grown because I think about this and I say, this is my home. This is my spiritual home, right? When you love your home, you take care of it. And so part of my growing is that, it's oneness, it's consciousness. God is all there is. I give thanks and I've got gratitude. In terms of serving, I've talked about it already. I'm board member extraordinaire and, Some days when when things were going not so well, we had to make some tough decisions, and we made them. And so you serve, and you do what you're asked to do. And lastly, I've been a pledger since probably at the first year that I was here. I believe in it. It has brought me through many a day. And so what I'd like you to do now is, as I end this, is to help me with our grateful giving affirmation, okay? I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. Thank you.
Will you put your hands together with me? Yeah, thank you so much. I'm anchored in the solid rock of truth. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. My faith is stronger than my fear. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. I stand on what I know. My faith can move mountains. Belief in possibilities moves me beyond what I can see. I'm anchored in the solid rock of truth. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. Yeah, my faith is stronger than my fears. Woo! I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. I stand on what I know. I lean on what I know, and I rest in what I know. That my life is in your hand. I'm anchored in the solid rock of truth. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. 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 Thank you so much.
Thank you, Penelope.
You're all joining me. I love it.
Love it, love it. All right. Divine Spirit, thank you so much for these wonderful gifts, whether they actually be in physical format or any type of electronical gift that we give. We know that it is pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing so that we can continue the mission of this wonderful center to help individuals find the divinity that is within themselves so that they understand the mental healing process that is always available to them. We are so grateful for these gifts. We know that they overflow into this center's lives, and so it is. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce to you now our beloved Reverend Susan.
How y'all are? A gracious good afternoon to you. Thank you, that was healthy. So building peace. My first question is, what's with the celebrity obsession this country has? Really, it's amazing what lengths people will go to be known, to have attention. You know, they want it really badly to go to some lengths. And it's also amazing to me how many people are so eager to give them that attention. You know, I Googled Friday when I was writing this, because I only found out Thursday David had COVID, that what is celebrity media? And the first link that came up had 72 examples. 72, that's just one link. For example, Celebrity News Entertainment, People Magazine, Access, Hollywood, BET Style, Dish Nation, Chrissy Knows Best, Keep It Up with the Kardashians, blah, 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 because it just goes on and on. It seems that we as a society just cannot stop watching and can't get enough of someone else's life. Are these people so fascinating? Truly, are they so fascinating that we simply must know everything about them? Even things they don't want us to know. We want to see into their lives. Now, when we do this, we have to ask, what kind of people would do this? First of all, there are some celebrity watchers who probably get inspired to go on and do greater things. Do you know who one of the main ones is? Carol Burnett. She said watching that gave her the feeling she could do this and go forth, and she said, I never ever doubted it. Now, some are just simply curious. I wonder what kind of house Haley Mills lives in. And if you don't know Haley Mills, I'll inform you about this later on because she was my childhood idol. And then there are other people that I believe are living vicariously. They're living through someone else. They don't think their lives are ever going to be as interesting or as colorful or as exciting as what they're going to see on the screens. And when they believe this, that's exactly what happens. It is. Trying to fill a void in ourselves with something external simply doesn't work. I've tried. I bet some of you can say the same thing. But when we do see these examples of people that seem so larger than life, what are we really seeing? We're probably seeing a very manufactured, carefully orchestrated piece of their life, complete with makeup, complete with lights, choreographed. How much of what we're seeing is a true snapshot? I don't think it's much. Now, with the advent of all the social media, we may get some more things. But really, when you see something on these networks, I'm not sure we know at all who these people are that we're watching. For all the glamour and the dazzle of her life, Judy Garland, on more than one occasion, got her children up in the middle of the night, had them put on as many layers of clothes as they could get on, so they could sneak out unobserved or not attracting too much attention because they couldn't pay the bill. I don't think that's a very happy thing to do for the mother or the children. I think it would be rather embarrassing. And some people go to great lengths to be celebrities, then realize that there is a real cost to pay for that. They may give up their privacy. They may have their lives controlled by a studio or an organization. They may not have the control over their body. You better weigh this much. You better look like this. You better have your hair like this, whatever. That's pretty controlling. And I know that they have to do things that they dislike and go to unwanted events. One of the most famous examples of this that was really healthy was Roy Rogers. His first wife died. He hated going to these events. They kept trying to pair him up with starlets, and he just went home to Trigger and the kids. Now he did. There are probably also those people who are celebrities and who watch the celebrities are just happy and thrilled and enjoy it for what it is. Not everybody there is having huge gaping holes in their heart. For example, Princess Diana loved Prince, now King George. This is me, King George. That's going back to some madness. She loved Prince Charles, now King Charles, but she didn't love what came with living a royal life, and she certainly didn't love his girlfriend, Camilla. No, she didn't. What she truly wanted was as normal a life as possible with her husband and her children. She's very dedicated to her children. You know, this is the most well-known person in the world at that time, and she was bulimic. That does not come out of happiness, and I speak from experience. Diana had given up her peace. She had. And you know, you might be saying, why are you talking about celebrities, Susan? Could you not think of anything else? No, that's not it. The reason I'm using it is because it's a well-known example that everybody in here can identify with. Even if you don't watch TV, there are so many forms of media that put this out constantly. You can't stand in the grocery line without seeing celebrities on the covers of the magazines and the newspapers. You know, while you and I might not aspire to be a celebrity or even pay attention to all the attention they're getting, we all, I think, consciously or unconsciously, have our own personal voids. I do. Now, it's a feeling of emptiness, I believe, and it's easy to look outside of yourself when you feel so empty and you don't know what to do. And the media constantly invites us to do so. So you may be saying, well, okay, what is this peace anyway? You know, what does it mean to be without it? Why do we long for it so much? So, being a former teacher, I looked up the definition. And peace, a state of harmony, freedom from disharmony and violence, cessation of or freedom from strife or dissension, tranquility and serenity. Doesn't that sound nice? Without it, disharmony, violence, strife, dissension, anxiety, agitation, and fear. Raise your hand with me if you would, if you want more of that in your life. Nobody healthy, I saw you. Nobody healthy wants that in their life. You know, Ernest Holmes, who founded religious science, wrote this, and it's a really big statement. Listen to his words. I believe the ultimate goal of life is to have complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be achieved by all. Can you believe that? You know, can I really accept that? I look around the world and I'm going like, Ernest, you had some faith. Now, yes, you do. But, you know, do we even think it's possible? I know in truth it's possible. And I look around the world and I think, is it? You know, how do we recreate this utopia? How do we enter into that space of worldwide peace? Because sometimes to do so just seems like an insurmountable wall. It's just too tall. It's too big. There's no way around it. You know, that's when I know it's time to reboot my thinking. When I start feeling that way, you know, it's like, it works in this area of my life, that area, but not in this area. And that's never going to change. That's just a way that it is. Get into that thinking ever? No, just me, okay. I do get into that thinking. But then I remember truth, the one with the capital T, spiritual truth. And for me, this involves going back to the basics, going back to science of mind, or going back to some book that brings me back to the basics of what we teach. And I remember that, and I am uplifted. You know, The Science of Mind was written in 1938 by Ernest Holmes, and here are some of his words. Peace comes from a conscious unity of the personal human with the inner principle in his or her life, that underlying current flowing from a divine center. And you will intuitively know you are with good. Listen, for it is the voice of God. Listen, for it is the voice of God. Instead of fighting, he wrote, we can think of good. Instead of fighting the devil, we should worship God. When overcome by grief, let us enter the joy of living. I don't think he meant casting a golden idol or anything like that. I think he meant remember the truth. He used biblical terms. He was raised Christian. And so you wonder, well, how do I experience this peace? You know, there's this going on, there's that going on. You haven't met my family, somebody says to me quite frequently. You know, these are wonderful words, but how do we actually create this when it comes down to it? Well, I have some points I'd like to make about that. I think there are 13. 1, withdraw from confusion. Get quiet and go within. You may be saying, what is this go within? We'll get to that later on. Just get quiet. Don't stay around the confusion. Lift yourself to a different state. If it's watch a funny movie, if it's go for a walk, whatever it is, you know, talk to your family members that are just, especially the children. Second thing, move away from conflict. It may appear unavoidable, but it is not inevitable. It may appear unavoidable, but it is not inevitable. Absolutely not. The third, this is a biggie. Let go of people, emotions, things, and events that bring you stress and strife. I bet you've heard that, and you think, oh, yes, I'll just say, bye, family, bye, boss, bye, job, bye, husband, whatever. You know, the fact of the matter is, it may not involve leaving that situation, that person, that relationship. It may mean you leave behind some old thinking. Maybe there's a new idea of how to interact that can be better. You leave the situation, and you can leave the situation by having a greater idea of how to do. Of course, you know, we don't want to leave the people we love, but sometimes we have to. You know, something within will guide you. Pay attention, for it is the voice of God. 4, stop expecting negative events and outcomes. How many of you have heard, well, we're going to have this great picnic. Well, you know, it's going to rain. It's going to be real hot. And there's so many ants over there. And you think, good God. You know, have you ever seen Debbie Downer on Saturday Night Live? I know some people who are Debbie Downerettes. And I will tell you, how many of us were taught to prepare for the very best to happen? Raise your hand if you were taught you know? Well, you know what I mean. Now, 5, affirm that peace is always possible. When it least looks like it is the time to do it for sure. You know, when it doesn't seem like anything's going right, when it seems like things are only getting worse, be open to new ways for conversation, interactions. Know that indeed it is possible to have better things. And the next one, remember that outside circumstances do not determine your experience. That's big. Outside examples, outside events, outside things, outside of you, do not determine your experience. That is dedicated and determined and dependable through your consciousness. Absolutely. Consciousness is everything we sometimes teach. Change your mind, change your thinking, and change your life. Number 7, when encountering disharmony, as soon as you can, ask, am I contributing peace to this situation, or am I contributing negativity? course, sometimes I am righteously indignant over something, and I am perfectly and absolutely right, and you need to listen to me and do as I say. And then I have to remember, what if I'm not right? Oh, no, that wouldn't happen. But just in case, maybe I need to consider that there's another way. We all have different beliefs and different opinions. Do we respond or react? Because peace is built moment by moment, thought by thought, action by action. And it begins with one person and another person and another. If we think it's not possible, then so be it. Absolutely. Now, number 8, find ways to be kind to other people and to share with other people. It may involve finances, it may not. Going over and helping someone do a particular task is giving. Letting a friend cry on your shoulder sometimes, as long as they don't do it for too long, is a gift. I'm saying, don't encourage people to just go on and on, but really be there for them. Let them have a way to get it out of their system. Just be kind. It goes so far. Now, 9, pray for greater expressions of love for ourselves, for others, for our family, for our country, for our church, for our world, for our environment. Powerful prayer. Powerful prayer works. You might think, well, I'm not powerful. Yes, you are. Don't let anybody tell you that. Pray and know that it is happening. Absolutely. I read every day about new inventions that are coming to clean the waters of plastic, that are taking pollutants out of the air. It's amazing. And also, stand up in line for your deepest beliefs. I don't mean just a thought or a passing phase. I mean your deepest beliefs. Stand up for them. You don't have to sit back and be passive. The example of Jesus wasn't passive. He went in and tore up the church one time, threw over all kinds of tables. He was not a passive person. And when you think about this, sometimes we do have to take a stand, and sometimes it has to be very strong. There are situations that I would never, ever want to be in that are going on in this world. And I think a strong response is appropriate to them. But let us internally know that the process of peace is happening, whether I see it or not. Whether I feel it, I believe it, peace. Do you know this world is in better shape than it has ever been? It's more peaceful than it's ever been. You're thinking, oh my God. It's true. It's true. Now, number 11, do what you can and be open to new way of doing things and maybe new ways to be greater in your expression of yourself. Just because we do this thing right here, whatever it is, we may have done it for God knows how long. What if we can do something else that's bigger and greater? Can you be open to it? And maybe that's just not for you. You're really good with right here. Okay, but do something and just be open to the idea. Even just consider it that there's a bigger way for you to be. Absolutely. Work in the ways that you can. There's no need to feel guilt about what you do not do. Do what you can. Just open yourself. Number 12, visualize and expect peace and harmony. Good for all. That is powerful prayer. How many of us awfulize? We see some, oh my God, that's so awful. I'm just disgusted. But the truth is, can you stop in that moment? There was a young woman who was raised in this church. She's now the minister of the church in Louisville, Kentucky, Rainbow Weldon. And Rainbow was raised, and she was so strong in her faith. They once passed a terrible wreck, and her mother, Louise, said to me, Rainbow turned her head as a young child and said, I'm not even letting that in my consciousness. You know, that's powerful. When we stop accepting the idea that this has to be a violent world, there's no way to get around it, just say my favorite biblical phrase, yea and verily, which means bring it on in spades. Absolutely. It's our choice. But number 12 I really love, which is know always that the nature of this universe is harmony. Know that the nature of this unit that we call our world is made to be in harmony. Do you know if we went off 1 degree from our orbit, pretty soon life would be not here. It would be gone. It's done with mathematical precision. And I know that some of y'all don't want to think about math or science, but just 1 degree, 1/360th of a circle. The world is orderly, and we can be too. We don't have to be mired in unhappiness and discord. And I would say that some of us have to grow into peace. Why is that? What do I mean? Well, I'm looking around here, and there's a lot of people here about my age, 39. And no, what I'm saying is our parents were in wars. My father was in North Africa with Patton. He was in Italy. I don't know where all. They didn't have this idea about meditating on peace. Many of them were coming out of the Great Depression. My father's family farmed or they didn't eat. He got drafted and he went over there and he did what he could. It takes a strong response. Were we going to sit by and let the Nazis take over the world and slaughter millions? We stood up. Sometimes it takes that. You know, we have to have spirit-inspired action, not just some of the things that I thought were spirit-inspired, because I thought, oh, this certainly has got to be from God. And it certainly wasn't. It was my idea all the way, and it wasn't a very good idea. I soon found that out and learned to tell the difference. You know, you have to practice on how to do this. We'll do a little practice at the end of the talk. It's not ego-driven. It will feel differently. And just take time to experience quiet every day. If it's for 5 minutes, just take that 5 minutes and take it into yourself. Now, I find it helpful to ask myself a very important question. It is WWOD and WWHD. Now, should you want to know, this is my way of correcting imbalance when things are going on and I've forgotten, I start getting all caught up in the world. Like when someone this morning had the nerve to get on a small road and go the speed limit. I just tell you, I knew it was a conspiracy. But, you know, in my world, I have 2 very special gifts, not the only ones, but these 2, my dogs Oliver and Henry. And they are wonderful. Now, they're very different. Oliver, my little love, is impulsive, self-centered, demanding, a food thief, a leather chair grabber so that you can't get back in. He's somewhat oppositional defiant, which is why I was told I like him. And he's just a beautiful boy. You know, I absolutely adore him, even if I don't adore all of his actions. Now, Henry, on the other hand, is calm. He's more quiet unless there's squirrels involved. He's gentle. His life goals, I am firmly convinced, are to have his tummy endlessly rubbed and to rid the world of squirrels. Absolutely. You know, he stops when he's asked to do something. No, Henry, don't do that. He stops. Oliver goes, ha! I certainly adore Henry. They're wonderful. So when situations arrive, as they, invariably do, I'll just real quickly say WWOD and WWHD, see which one I'm being at the moment. It helps to draw me back. It's just a little something I use. You'll find something for you that reminds you. You get it in just short, quick, and, it'll come to you. What would Oliver do in a situation? He will run up at the speed of light, helicopter up, levitate, come over your food, grab it, levitate, and run out the doggy door. He will grab your remote, your phone, your napkin, something that you really don't want him to have, a special piece of paper. And he's on his way. He's just in his element because he wants you to chase him and play with him. You know, what a boy. Shall he bark to break the sound barrier when I'm close to him? I thought I was deafened a couple of times. I'm not joking. These are Oliver's common go-to behaviors. And he's also very lovable and adorable. But what would Henry do? He would look at me and remind me that he loves me. He looks at me with the most loving looks. He also holds a ball in his mouth when he does that because he loves to play ball. And he thinks that all the world's problems would be solved with a chuck it. And if you don't know what a chuck it is, see me after service because it may help your life immensely. He even goes outside and stands up to the window and looks in with that ball like, I'm here, I love you. Come play with me. I turn away. I can't do it because it just pulls you in. And then sometimes he just jumps in my lap, puts his paws on my shoulder, and sits down, looks at me with love for his tummy to be rubbed. We do this every night after dinner. We call it tickle tummy time. You know, Henry's behaviors are really more gently persuasive, especially compared with Mr. Personality himself, Oliver. Now, that may seem silly to you, but truly, this is something I observe every day. And it reminds me of who I am and the decisions I can make. Am I going to be Oliver or Henry or some combination thereof? You know, it's not always apparent to me in the moment what I'm being. When that nerdy person in front of me went the speed limit this morning, I turned into Oliver. I just did. You know, I just have to have my way. I need to be right at that moment. Never mind, I could have left 10 minutes earlier. That's my issue. When I have to be right, I think of those two boys. What would Henry do? What would Oliver do? And you can find your own ways to center yourself and find something that's going to bring you back to realizing that it doesn't have to be the way it is. Because peace starts in the individual, thought by thought, word by word, action by action, and it adds up to a life. Our thoughts are creative. They matter. What we choose goes out into the divine mind and comes back to us as our experiences. Not just a random thought. I know I used to try and meditate and go, oh no, I'm thinking a thought about thinking. Oh my God, I'm thinking, this is so negative. That's not it. It's the overall tone and the feeling and the amount of emotion you have in something. So when you find yourself having strong emotion, you can say WWHD or WWOD and see which one you are at the moment. You know, what's our predominant thought patterns, the one we may not even realize that we have. Absolutely. I had to stop myself from thinking that Atlanta traffic had one goal in mind, which is to thwart me. Because it felt like that when I was in a hurry and I get so frustrated. That's not a God problem, that's a Susan issue. Leave 15 minutes earlier. You know, don't get so upset when things are seemingly not working out. Because, you know, the foundation of faith is truly knowing our spiritual nature. Should everyone have the same image of God as we do? No. Someone may do a Buddhist meditation, someone else may listen to music, someone else may dance, someone else may read inspiring literature. That's all different ways. As Gandhi said, all roads lead to God. Find a way to recenter yourself and lift yourself up. We are always in and of this Creator. We are never without. Absolutely. And there's peace in the Creator. We have peace in our lives. Because you know what? We walk around immersed in and surrounded by and filled up with God, Spirit, whatever name you call it. That's what we are. If there's peace in there, there's peace in us. We just might need to nurture it quite a bit. Well, being within, I think peace grows when we accept and nurture it. If some of my family members, I think, just really like being angry and blaming. And I grew up with that, and I was modeling, and I thought one day, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not healthy. I started coming to SLCA and learned new and different things. You know, we can turn from the idea that that situation has the power to control me. We're in charge. You know, peace is always possible in this world, absolutely. And perhaps you wonder how harmony is going to happen in your life, you know, given whatever's happening in your personal life and in the world. Just remember that whatever happened prior to this moment is in the past. This is the present moment, the only moment there is, and that's the moment you can change your thought and start changing your life. It may be a process. It may happen rapidly. If you want harmony, go for it. Think it, be it. When someone says something to you that you normally would want to say, get the fudge away from me, don't say it. Smile, say, I'll think about that. I'll think about that. Doesn't mean you'll think anything other than it's dumb, but you'll think about it. You know, Spirit will create according to what we do and put out. When we choose this power, we direct it. And the mighty Spirit, the Creator of all, is behind it. I know it's possible because it happened in my life. I, at times, have been a tremendously good bad example. In fact, if you knew all the tales, you might say, Jesus, God, how did that woman become a minister? And you know what? I'll tell you, because I realized that I was not a miserable sinner, that I was not disappointing God and was designed to have an unhappy, unhealthy life. I came to SLCA, I found a new idea of God and a new idea of my place in this universe. And if it can work with me with all I had done, I can tell you it will work for you. Absolutely. So no matter what has happened, each of us can create peace right here, right now. We've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. In other words, we've made mistakes. We wish we could go and undo some things. Maybe it's possible to rectify that situation or not. You know, no matter who you are and what you have experienced, peace is possible. We don't know what others are going through. You know, Prince Charles, now King Charles, he didn't talk. He didn't say what he was going through, and I imagine Diana could be quite a handful. She was this young kindergarten teacher when she married him. It was a whole new world. You know, we don't have to know what happened in somebody's life. We can be that peaceful, comforting, solid presence. Absolutely. Our faith and love and harmony will carry us and guide us. Just learn how to tell the difference in what's guidance and what's ego. And I'll show you a little bit about that. You know, I mentioned Judy Garland earlier. By age 30, she was an alcoholic and a drug addict. She grew up manipulated by MGM, admitted to a private sanitarium, allegedly attempted suicide, and underwent shock treatment for depression. That's not a pretty picture. But you know, no matter what, her talent brought joy to, I think, millions, because she was so well known and so popular. We don't have to be perfect to let our light shine. In fact, don't wait till you're perfect. Do it right here, right now. Thought by thought, word by word, action by action. Choose peace. Absolutely. And you know, Diana Spencer for all the turmoil that she endured. She made a huge and lasting impression that was very positive in this world. She did. She walked through minefields to demonstrate the dangers of war and its after effect. She held and prayed and touched the untouchables, those with AIDS. She left a legacy of volunteering to make the world a better place, a kinder place, and a more loving place. She had her problems, but look at what she left us with. I may not walk through minefields, but I'm standing right here and talking to you about peace. And for right now, this is my part to do. Because right here, right now, we have the power. Every being is an expression of the divine, even the ones we just really don't think of that way. You know, God sure is in a funny disguise and so. But I know there's 2 women in the Midwest, and they decided to start a rescue. They funded it themselves at first. They didn't know how they were going to do it all, but they did. And they have Wire Fox Terrier Midwest Rescue. And thus the 2 blessings in my life, Oliver and Henry. That is a ministry that they do. They make so many happy people by sharing these animals with him. A family, whatever. You see people drive hours and hours sometimes to come pick up a puppy or a grown dog that they have. You know, again, we don't have to be perfect. We just have to start. We have to take the first step. Now, whether you are marching for justice, whether you are building schools in Africa, whether you are feeding at the soup kitchen, there's always something you can do. If you can't do some physical act, meditate and pray. Smile more, whatever it takes. Maybe you'll run for office, who knows? Maybe you'll help us take better care of our earth. If you don't feel you know what your part is, then declare that it is clear as writing on the wall. And I guarantee you, you just declare that, declare it till it becomes in your mind, and indeed, it will show up in a way you cannot miss it. So would you affirm with me, please? I am one with God's peace. I am one with God's peace. There is no confusion in me. There is no confusion in me. At the center of my being, there is peace. At the center of my being, there is peace. Whatever is yours to do, please do it wisely and lovingly. Let's act like it matters, because it does. Thank you. Thank you. You know, we talked about going within. Let's just take a moment. Close your eyes, would you? Just drop your shoulders. Just have your abdomen lift up as you pull air into your lungs. There's a natural pause, and then there's an exhale, and the abdomen goes down. Just keep that breath. Lift your abdomen, bring the air in. Feel it going through your body, and then the release, and the natural pause. And continue this. You'll notice your whole body change. You'll get quieter. Your blood pressure will go down. And this is one way of going within. We all have our own ways. And you can ask for guidance in this time. What do I need to know about? And leave it open. And then just keep breathing. Don't think of the question. And see what comes to you. And one thing I know is that if it seems like nothing's coming, sometimes it's an expression. I need to know I'm in fear that nothing will ever come to me. It's not true. It'll come to you when it is the right time. So thank you for sharing this time with me. And let's know something greater right now as we close our service. There is one power, one presence, one mind. That power is creating, constantly creating me anew, creating you anew, cell by cell, thought by thought. This whole world is being created anew every moment. The divine mind is responding to our thoughts. I shall not put the same old thoughts in that were not serving me. We're not serving this world. We're not bringing harmony and joy. And I put in now loving thoughts, life-enhancing thoughts, kind thoughts. I know that peace is possible. And though I sometimes may step away from that, I remember faster and faster, or someone will come along and remind me. I recenter myself. And I know how grateful I am for this center, that the teaching saved my life in so many ways. I celebrate every person who brought this service together, especially Reverend Jean, Penelope, the tech folks, the volunteers, and I thank them. We don't just find a place like this everywhere. So I give because I want it to continue and grow. And I know we have done goodness here today, and that the effects of my words go far beyond the walls of this room in places I may never know about or see. But it's wonderful. Things are getting better. Things that would have been tolerated before are no longer tolerated. They're out in the light, which may be why they seem to be so large, because we're coming to the light to let it go. And so I let that peace fill me now, that presence. I think of the person around me, beside me. I send them love. I send them the peace that passes understanding. And I know that it matters. I know that it has an effect. So with joy and gratitude, I say namaste, aloha, blessed be shalom, amen. And together, if you will join me, knowing that it is already so, and so it is. Now, there's some people we want to include in our prayers today. First of all is Reverend David and his family. Also, in our prayers, for some of us, this is a bit close, is Georgina Grace's family, our practitioner who died this week. She was a light. She was a light. She still is somewhere, wherever she is. Also, Al, Elizabeth, and Maya. So stop a minute and just send energy to these people, send love to them, and don't forget to send love to yourself. Just take a moment. Thank you for being here with me today.
I also want to invite you to, we have practitioners available this afternoon for you, and we have them also online. So if you need prayer and you feel you want to feel the comfort and the power of that connection, please connect. Practitioners, will you raise your hand if you're in service this afternoon in the room? And thank you for being acknowledged also online. Thank you so much. And thank you for a wonderful service, Reverend Susan. Thank you. We're going to close with our closing song. I invite you to stand if it feels comfortable to do so. Please, let's gather together in our closing song. Yes. Thanks. Hope to see you downstairs at the social hall for conversation and a wonderful meal.
We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. Yes, we do. We see a world that works for everyone.
See it in your eye, mind's eye.
We see a world that works for everyone. Everyone, 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 everyone. Woo!
See you downstairs.
Yes.
Please say hello to one another. Thank you, Reverend Susan.